What's up, guys? Are we live or what?
Live and in color.
Oh, I'm glad we're in color. Virtual study groups. This is number 27.
27. That's more than half a year.
Oh, wow.
Wait a second. Are you sure? Yeah, you're right.
52 weeks in a year, sir. 26 was last week. 52 divided by 2 is 26, and 27 is more than 26.
No one told me that math was going to be involved. I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah,
So
no kidding.
So half the distance to the goal? No.
Stop it.
That doesn't apply here either, does it? Well, congratulations, number 27. I feel like half a year is a landmark. I mean, do you feel like that or what?
I'm excited.
Probably should have popped some bubbly last week.
I reserve popping bubbly for special occasions. 26 wasn't it, but 27 is. So let's go. Let's pop some bubbly. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. And honestly, to start tonight's session, hey Tuta.
Yes, sir.
You still there?
I am still here.
You ever made a call and then you reviewed what you called and found out that you were just basically wrong?
I think 3 weeks ago on virtual study groups, I did that, and then I had to come back with a retraction / clarification video because I just inserted my mouth and opened my mouth and inserted my foot. So yes, I have done that.
Oh, you've done that? Okay.
Absolutely.
Guess what? I did that last week. All right, look at this play. So we have 4 players in the backfield right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a different play than last week, but I'm explaining where we went wrong. Where I went wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, math session, Daniel. What's 6 plus 4?
Hold on, let me get Grace. 10? Okay, 10. It's 10.
Okay, 6 plus 4 is 10. Last week we said you could not work off a scrimmage kick formation legally by rule if you had 10 because you didn't have 5 numbering exceptions. That was wrong. That was dead wrong. Look, Tuta, this is one of those things where you talk about something, or maybe you make a call or you make a decision, whether it's football, whether it's life, business, whatever it is. You wake up in the middle of the night and you say, what? You see what I'm saying? You say, like, what am I talking about? Here's the thing. The numbering requirements, we said last week, 50 through 79 on regular scrimmage plays, that applies to regular scrimmage plays. You do not have to replace each 50 through 79 on a scrimmage kick formation with numbering exceptions to be legal. You can absolutely snap the football in a scrimmage kick formation with only 6 on the line. The thing is, Tuta, what gets us on this is this whole shifting. You can't end up uncovering who was a numbering exception locked in when the center basically addressed the football. So we want to make sure everybody's clear that what we said about the shifting was correct. I said about the interior linemen having to, because what I was basically saying is 50 through 79, and we got to have 5 on a normal scrimmage formation. I was trying to transpose that into scrimmage kicks and saying, well, you got to replace each of them with numbering exceptions or actually have the 50 through 79 on the interior line. Wrong, dead wrong. And I realized how wrong that was. Look, whoever's covered up with a number not 50 through 79 when the center addresses the ball is ineligible, period, so long as we're in a scrimmage kick formation. And so really the numbering exception, I made it way too complicated last week. I just wanted to get on right away, right off the bat, and clear that up. So I want to make sure, especially from the panel, is there any questions or any continuing questions, or maybe we'll get some in the chat.
I don't have any. I'm glad you cleared it up, though.
Okay. Well, that was easy.
Sounds good.
Okay, so what do you think? Should we move on?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Watch some football.
All right. Well, based on that, I think I got fired. and I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to turn it over to Ty. You're taking. We're going to go. Are we going to Texas with the
yes, IDP
covered up tight end? Let's go.
Covered up tight end. So here's the question. We're talking some IDP type of stuff here. We're going to look at this play. I'm going to start the video. And I'm going to start the poll. The tight end is covered up. The tight end at the top of the screen, he's covered up. So the question we're asking is, when he went downfield on this pass play, which statement is most accurate? I'm not going to read all of that all of the stuff that's written there. Everyone can read on their own. But the tight end was covered up and went downfield on the pass play. So when is this a foul, or even is it a foul? This might not even be a foul, depending on what you think. And we'll have the play will loop so that we can see it. I hope I clicked the button to say publish the poll results. Golly.
I hope you did too.
I hope so also.
Yeah, I might get fired too.
Well,
we're going to have to put a classified ad for help on Pure Fishing before too long.
Cruz just came off a suspension.
He was suspended. That's right. 2 weeks ago, he was suspended. I forgot about that.
But then I got suspended again.
Yeah, well, yeah, you might get suspended. Yeah, your second suspension.
No. What do they call that? Double jeopardy?
No, that's not what they call it.
Yeah, it's a separate offense.
Yeah, well, but you know,
really?
Similar to targeting. You know, when you get your second targeting, what is the third targeting in the season? You got to sit out a game.
Yeah. Maybe you should handle the scrimmage kick formation since you know the rules so well. Just kidding. Wow. Which tight end is covered up here?
That was a low blow. He's at the bottom now. He's right there. You can see plain as day. He's covered up.
So we get the reverse angle with the arrow going out from TV. It's that's a cool reverse angle.
It was.
I think that's the sky cam, like towards the other side of the field. That's
really you can see the shadow right there. Really nice angle. That's awesome.
On the normal line feed, it's the left tight end of the offense perspective?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we're ready. I think we're ready to stop here. Hopefully, we are seeing the results out in the Pure Officiating Nation. The vast majority of us said this is a foul because the tight end went more than 3 yards downfield and a pass was thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. The next subset of us, 21% of us, said it's a foul because the tight end went more than 1 yard downfield and a pass was thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. So nobody thought it was a foul as soon as the tight end went more than 1 yard downfield, regardless of the pass. And a smattering of us thought it was not a foul. And another smattering of us thought it was a foul as soon as the tight end went 3 yards downfield, regardless if a pass was thrown or not. Okay.
Should we compare this to another play?
I think we should.
All right, let's do it.
Why not? Right. We'll put the tight end on the other side.
Yeah, let's do that.
In snow.
Let's see the next play. I don't see the next play. There it is. Okay. Now we have a tight end covered up. Again, this time the tight end is at the bottom of the screen and he's covered up. Where is our poll? Reset the poll.
There we go.
This one's a little tricky, I think, just from the video perspective, because that right split end is barely.
You can't really see him. Yeah. He's covering the tight end up.
Yeah, so we have some arrows and things like that. So the right split end is covering up the tight end. That's what. We're setting that situation up.
So now we have the same questions that we asked in the previous play. Where's the Jeopardy music?
Somebody was in charge of music today, but then they
Is that the same person that got suspended that was in charge of music today?
I'm not in the business of naming names. I'm just somebody was supposed to have music.
All right. We'll do process of elimination. Hey, Corey, were you suspended recently?
I don't believe so. No.
All right. Daniel, were you suspended recently?
Is Corey sure? He has a team.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Daniel was definitely suspended.
Not yet, I don't think.
You're banking one for the future or what?
Well, you never know.
Okay.
All right. I like these poll results are quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm getting ready to end. So if anybody who still has their finger on the button trying to decide which option to choose, hurry up and click because I'm getting ready to end the poll.
Make a decision. Interesting split on this poll.
It is very interesting, Corey. Okay, so I ended the poll. Some of us said this is not a foul. Is that a majority? I never understand what that is. That is a majority, right?
No, it's a plurality.
It's a plurality. Okay. I don't have my dictionary handy, so I'm not going to even try to work with that word. 44% of us said it's not a foul. 37% of us said it's a foul because the tight end went more than 3 yards downfield and a pass was thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. 13% of us said it's a foul because the tight end went more than 1 yard downfield and the pass was thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. And then 3% of us said it's a foul as soon as the tight end went downfield, regardless if a pass was thrown or not. Let's make sure that we understand from a rules perspective. We'll start there regarding ineligibles downfield on a pass. This tight end, I don't care if he's wearing an eligible number or if he's a normally, quote unquote, eligible type of player. If he's covered up, he is ineligible by position, so we can consider him the same as the interior lineman. In order to have a foul for ineligible downfield on a pass, we must have a forward pass that crosses the line of scrimmage. So for this poll number 1 and poll number 2, anybody who chose that it's a foul as soon as the player went downfield, that is not necessarily the case. We have to make sure that we see a pass go downfield. So any questions on that first?
I don't see any.
Okay, so let's talk about the next thing. Let's make sure that we also understand our Saturday rules versus some rule that may be in other rule books. Under NCAA rules, and I should have pulled up my doggone rule book. I like to write the references in. Requirements for offensive players prior to the snap. Okay, I'm not going to look for it. Look, 3 yards. For ineligibles downfield on a pass, the player has to go beyond 3 yards prior to the pass being thrown. And of course, as I just mentioned, the pass has to cross the line of scrimmage. So it is not 1 yard, it is 3 yards. So we have to make sure that we see a player go downfield more than 3 yards, and the forward pass has to go beyond the line of scrimmage in order for us to have a foul for ineligible downfield on the pass. The reason we showed these two plays is because this is probably one that we really get our brain screwed up when if we're working the line of scrimmage, we see this and we're automatically banking in our head, oh my God, this tight end is covered up. He's ineligible. And then as soon as he goes downfield, we automatically think, oh, well, it's a foul. Well, we have to make sure we continue to watch the ineligible player and make sure that he actually goes more than 3 yards downfield. So Brandon is screen sharing right now. And what we can see is the tight end went about 3.5 yards. So he is beyond 3 yards. And I know a lot of times we use that. We like to say a healthy 3. And I think people can, I don't know what what the rest of our group's opinion is, but I think when we're talking about an ineligible player who's normally eligible, who's covered up, I don't think we need to be talking about a healthy 3, because really we're getting to some serious deception. Now we're not dealing with just a lineman who wanders downfield. We're talking about deception. And I think when they break that 3-yard plane, that's when we have a foul. I don't know, Daniel, Corey, Brandon, if y'all have anything different on that.
No, I absolutely agree. If he's that, like you said, that's designed to deceive the defense, and that's a significant advantage. If he goes, a hair past 3 yards, I think we're justified.
Right.
I'd like to know what, not being a line of scrimmage official myself, I'd like to know if they differentiate between the two. Do they look at it as, whether he's normally, an eligible player, like in this case, versus a left guard or left tackle going down? Is there more leeway given to those? And I've never heard that. I mean, it's an honest question. I don't know if they look at it differently or not.
So I know we talk about a healthy 3, Corey, when we talk about regular old IDP. And when we say a healthy 3, we're obviously talking about 3+. And I'm not going to get into exactly what healthy 3 is. That's up to each individual official's judgment, I guess. But go ahead, Brandon. I see you're itching to make a point. You're drawing and making a point.
I'm just having fun while you guys talk. I'm putting arrows up, circles. This is totally designed and intentional. Don't think for a second, folks, that this isn't intentional. And I don't say that that's bad that this is intentional. I just think that this guy unfortunately stepped right here, right there, too far downfield. I mean, I think he stepped too far downfield. I feel like this is when, we need to tighten down and work this thing as a plane.
That's right.
Look, the 3 yards, I mean, just think about it in terms of football. That 3 yards is generous on its own. And that's not our judgment to make. It's more of an opinion. But
although the rule survey is open right now.
The rule survey is open. Great point. Great point. Thank you, NCAA, for making that available. Look, so if it's going to be this generous and favorable toward the offense, based on somebody's opinion, right, then I feel like this needs to be officiated more technically than some other aspects of the game, because obviously, and we've heard this, that based on how these schemes are set up, this is very hard to defend. And it's not our job to worry too much about the balance of offense and defense, but it is our job to enforce and administer the rules as they're written in terms of when significant competitive advantages are gained by one team or another. And this is clearly a significant and competitive advantage by one team or another, because what are they trying to do? I mean, what are they trying to do out here? What are they hoping to have right here?
Yeah, they're trying to suck the safety down.
They're trying to have nobody there. This guy's already moving this way. This guy's already moving to help cover this. That's the umpire. This guy is covering this guy. This is exactly what they want to do. And I'm fine. Look, just keep this man within 3 yards, and it's not a foul by rule, as long as he doesn't block. So if he blocks, we could have another consideration, but we're talking about IDP, I believe. So if we figure out what they're trying to do and understand the rules and the spirit and intent behind the rules, I just feel like it makes it a little more easier to determine when we should maybe become a little more technical versus not.
I'm glad you brought up that word, because I was going to play devil's advocate for you, if that's okay.
I wish you would. That's why we're here.
So what? I mean, I can imagine officials saying, "Boy, that's just being too technical here. I'm going to let that go. He's at 3.5 yards." And I can just see, we've all worked with line of scrimmage guys that subscribe to that type of mentality. Not saying it's right or wrong, but in order to get consistent, how do we convince those that say, "Well, this is just too technical. We don't need to be calling this." When we, do we just need to attack it from the advantage gain because this is a receiver going down the route? I mean, how would you combat that?
Let me jump in. I'll be a little bit more absolute, hopefully without going too far. Let's say he goes 2.5 yards downfield. Can he catch a pass? Can we throw him the ball?
No,
absolutely not.
He can't catch a forward pass. He's ineligible.
Why? Because this man right here is covering him up.
Because he's covered up. Same principle as the IDP, different little bit practical application. So when they put him out in route, the defense, they don't coach to identify a tight end covered up or not. So when he goes out in route, like, you are communicating to the defense. And Corey, I think you'll appreciate this because there's some OPI application there. You're communicating to the defense that guy is eligible to catch a forward pass, and so they're committing guys to them. So I think when you look at it from that perspective, it's intended solely to deceive. It's not an interior lineman it's not an RPO that went bad. It's not a screen pass that went poorly. Its intent is to subvert the rule, really, in my opinion.
100%. 100%.
Sure.
So I think that's how we attack it.
And just for the record, I agree with what you're saying. I just wanted to throw that out.
Sure.
I can envision 4 or 5 guys that are going to say that.
How about 400 or 500 guys that are going to say that?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying personally that I know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's okay.
So, Brandon, let's go to the next play, number 2, and this really is the reason why I want to include these plays on here, is to make sure that our line of scrimmage officials are cognizant of the fact that not only is the tight end ineligible, but the tight end also has to go 3 yards downfield prior to the pass that is thrown beyond the line of scrimmage is released.
Yep. This is a really good look at this.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Just real quick. I mean,
yes.
It's not like this is, can we just make this guy legal?
Yeah, we can't make.
Come on.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Now I'll move on. I mean, great play design. Okay, here we go.
So if we contrast that with this play, we see the line of scrimmage is obviously we're in the snow, the 6-yard line. Yep. So that means our 3-yard IDP line would be at the 3-yard line. Mm-hmm. So just because the tight end is covered up, let's not only do that's only half of the puzzle. If we see a pass go downfield, that's only half of the puzzle. If that tight end does not go more than 3 yards downfield, it's not a foul.
So really, he can work. He can work within all of this zone.
Absolutely,
right here, legally,
absolutely.
As long as what? I mean, as long as he's not blocking.
He's not blocking, or interfering with someone. That's correct.
Yeah, and if that block is meaningful and impactful, like we've talked about in numerous sessions.
Sure. Yep. And we had a team. In fact, we still have a team. Well, they don't have the same coaching staff anymore, but we had a team that intentionally did this. They would line the tight end up, cover him up, and make him run 2-yard patterns all day long. So, and it's very difficult to work that if you're not thinking about both pieces. And we've talked about a 2-step process before. This is also a 2-step process. Where is the tight end, or where is the ineligible player when the pass is released? And what we can see in this play, the tight end is at the 4-yard line, which is 2 yards downfield. The ball is in the air. This is not a foul for ineligible downfield on the pass.
Not a foul. Great play design, but not a foul. I feel like this, what are the complicating factors here? I mean, the formation's interesting, but I feel like this is definitely a wide receiver covering up a tight end. I would love to have the line judge's angle, all right, to make sure. The other complicating factor could be the fact that what are we doing at the snap from the line?
Going to the goal line.
Going to the goal line. And we know, and this is why we always talk about whenever we can afford to judge aspects of this great game of ours from a stationary or mostly stationary position, that's why it's so much more advantageous than trying to judge, these aspects when we're on the move. We're on the move here. And certainly this pass is thrown quick. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, this pass is thrown quick. I would almost, and I've done this incorrectly from the referee position, and I was told to maybe go talk about something else. But when the pass is thrown this quick, it is really going to be hard, almost physiologically, to have IDP with our 3-yard rule.
Yes. So, Brandon, it's interesting you made that point, and I don't hate to do it because I'm going to do it anyway. plug another the one-on-one sessions that we've been doing. We did one with an umpire recently, and that was one of the plays we covered was an IDP that he incorrectly called downfield on alignment, and that was the point he made. On quick passes, it's almost impossible to have IDP.
I think we've talked about that previously in one of these 27 sessions, just that general principle.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Not impossible, but
not impossible, but really hard.
Yeah.
So some good comments in the chat. We had a couple comments on the field judge's mechanics. So there was a flag thrown on this play for whatever. I think the field judge in this case thought, just so we're clear, and I don't know what really, what is TV doing here, right? I mean, you would think they were like our level of production. I feel like the field judge thought that DPI was being called right here, and that's why he came racing in here to make sure that that's not what was called, because he didn't have DPI. So whoever asked that question in the chat, great question, great, awareness to see what the field judge did, but that's why he came running in. There he goes. The most athletic field judge in football officiating.
That's correct.
Am I going out on a limb there?
No.
So I guess you want to put a bow on this. The first play, we break the 3-yard plane at the release. This play,
foul.
we don't
no foul.
3-yard plane. Clearly not blocking. Obviously, here's the difference. If this guy's clearly blocking, then we'd have another decision to make. But there's no block, and we're within 3, no foul. So linemen, it doesn't matter their number. I mean, they're ineligible by rule if they're covered up, period. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if they're number 5 or number 65. So we have to treat those interior linemen the exact same. They get that 3-yard zone, and they can't block more than 1 unless the block is initiated within 1 and we are driving downfield. 3.
Beyond 3.
Beyond 3, it becomes a foul as long as we initiate within 1 and drive. So I don't care what number they are. If they're covered up and they're interior linemen, the rule is the same. And that, right, going back to what you said, Tuta, to start with, is that's where I think we get confused because, just for the fact that this guy is number 5, honestly. I think that's the only wrench, in our thought process here. All right.
Yeah, and then there's another comment, Brandon. We were asking about, we can't have IDP, but can we have illegal formation? Illegal formation.
No.
Let's make sure that we cover that as well.
We butchered that last week, by the way. We butchered the illegal formation last week on scrimmage kick formation. No.
Oh, more than 4 players lined up in the backfield is what we're looking for illegal formation.
Again, let's not get our rule sets confused. So on another level, on a games played on another day, this would be a foul for the tight end with an eligible number being covered up and not reporting. In our game, college football, this is not a foul. The formation itself is not a foul. The only foul formation wise, really, I think, if I'm correct, there's 2 requirements. You can't have more than 4 in the backfield. And if it's not a scrimmage kick formation, you must have 5 numbered 50 through 79. And if we just got to meet those 2 requirements and we can play on.
That's correct.
Cool.
We had another question just come in talking about the first example. If the ball is tipped in the backfield, but still crosses the neutral zone, there is still no foul, which, and the question is that correct? And that is correct. And so, when is forward or cross, when is forward backwards, when it crosses the neutral zone, when is that determined? It's when it first touches the ground, the player. I think even an official's in there, and that's rule 2 somewhere under passes. So I'll try to look that up real quick, but I think that's
a great question. That's a great question. All right. Look, check this out. We've got this play. This is our man right here. Our line of scrimmage was here. The ball's been released. And even before this, he was beyond this 3-yard zone. We've already established this is a foul. But guess what? If somebody rules that this player circled in blue right here, hopefully that looks like blue on your screen. If this player in blue tips that ball circled right there, somebody's got to come in and say that pass was tipped, and then forget about whatever you have right here. You're calling OPI, you're calling IDP, whatever it is, not a foul. Why? Because by rule, the pass would not have to be considered to have crossed the neutral zone whenever it's touched behind the neutral zone back here, especially, by the defense especially. So that's a really great question, really great awareness. Somebody has got to come to us and say if that pass was touched. And by the way, with games worked with instant replay, that would be a reviewable aspect. So we got a flag down. We got a flag down for IDP. Nope. Ball was touched behind the neutral zone. And therefore, by rule, the pass never crossed the neutral zone. Can't have a foul for IDP. Great question. I feel like this is what virtual study groups is all about. Great collaboration right there. I want to commend the question right there.
Hey, so would there ever be a situation where the umpire, or we're unsure about a tip, and we know for OPI we can have, I don't know if we want to get into this. Just when we announce that there's a potential, there's no tip, the ball was not tipped, IDP. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
So I think what you're saying is, look, I would have had a flag. I would have had a flag for IDP on this guy, number 80 right here. But man, I'm really not sure. I don't know. Was that pass tipped? Was it touched? Where was the ball touched? I don't know. Like, is that what you're saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, exactly right.
There's Grace.
Luke.
Oh, it's Luke. Sorry. I always mix them up. I feel like we just want to report that. I mean, we want to report that and maybe collaborate as much as we can. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think we've gone round and round with this, guys, but I feel like, if you're not sure on all this, maybe just put a flag down so we have a signal to help us get into the process. We're talking about games worked with instant replay here. There are very good lines of thought on both camps there, Daniel. And I'm not actually sure at this point in time where you sit there. Where do you sit?
I got to be honest. I don't think I've ever once thought about that scenario in this context until just now.
Well, but you have with OPI. I mean, you really have right?
Yeah, absolutly.
With and it's actually the same rule.
Literally the same rule. That's right.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was getting at. I assumed it was. I didn't know that for sure, but because what we're reviewing is the touching.
That's right.
And so for the OPI is the ball beyond the neutral zone, but for DPI, we're ruling the tip pass also. And so I assumed it's the same principle, but I've never heard it addressed or like I said, I've never thought about it in this context. I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure. The only difference, I guess, is because what you're saying is, if the line of scrimmage is somewhere like right here and he first touches this pass and we had clear, look, this guy's blocking. Now I'm doing a total what if, right? This guy's blocking clearly downfield. 26 touches the ball, and I'm making a new line of scrimmage. Did 26 touch it beyond the line of scrimmage, or did he touch it at or behind? And so this is where we've gotten into, okay, should we report that? Should we throw the flag? Should we do all these different things? So this is actually different, but honestly, it is the same rule. Because, like I said, if this man right here, number 20 in the white jersey, touches the ball, I mean, IDP, OPI, whatever foul you want to name, that depends on the ball being, the pass crossing the neutral zone.
Yeah, that's true. Good
you
point.
See what I'm saying? So
sure.
Really, what I would like to do from here, since you brought this up, is try to expand all of us and treat all these situations the exact same, which is, I don't really care because I don't care because I'm a referee and I have to make an announcement either way. The thing I do care about is my trigger into that announcement. And I feel like it is always easier if we have a flag on the ground to make the announcement, whether we're going to go with it or we're going to pick it up. And then, we kick it up to replay for the pass touch aspect. I know we're getting into the weeds here, but it's always easier to go with a flag on the ground and a pickup.
And when you think about it, in this context with a tight end, most of the time this flag's going to come from the line of scrimmage official, not the umpire. So they're two different thought process. So it's really kind of moot, I think, when you think about it, because the umpire is the one who worked the tip or not. And so if he's unsure, you're going to have a flag down anyway. You're going to hear his uncertainty. You're going to make your announcement, and then replay can do their thing. So
I get it, but like if we have a flag right here for IDP, because from this angle we're looking out here and calling this guy for IDP,
right?
But we got the umpire saying he touched that pass.
Yeah,
the umpire must.
He's got to know.
Report that.
Yeah.
What do you mean you got IDP? Number 20 went on a blitz. I recognize that, and he touched the ball in the backfield. We have to know that, and that's not something we just want to say, I'll just talk about it in our game report later, or I'll pick it up on video on Sunday.
Or get in the locker room. I sure did think he tipped that ball. You didn't think so?
You didn't think he tipped the ball? Wait, what? What are you talking about? These conversations have happened, and it is very frustrating to get into the locker room and say, wait, you're telling me you saw the ball was tipped? Oh, yeah, I thought you guys knew that. What the heck are you talking about? We didn't know that. Right? So you could have saved us. I mean, these are the conversations we go down, right? I mean, this is how we get better. And yeah, I'm going to stop right there because I might get a little more passionate. But I'm just like, yeah, if you've got this ball tipped, you've got to report that information.
Good stuff.
All right. So this is what happens, folks. Look, we put plays up and then we get all down these rabbit holes. I believe rabbit holes are good.
Well, I think just that point, if that's all we come away with for our umpire audience, although, golly, they have gotten a lot of attention and affection recently. But if you're out there listening and you hadn't thought about that, and just the how critical it is to come and get involved in that, when you see that, when you're listening to the short wing report their foul, man, just don't be that guy that Brandon mentioned that goes in and says, man, I don't know. I had a feeling. Like, let's communicate. Let's talk about it. Get involved. Have we said that before?
Get involved. All right. Where are we going next? So we're going to talk more trips formation. And then after that, we'll get into a bunch of different types of things. Were there any more questions on that, or did we basically soak up all the cognitive juice there?
I think we put everybody to sleep.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
I think so.
You know what, Daniel? All I've done right now is start the loop on this play, but I know you've got some other things going on with this trips left. We got a little wheel route. How do you want to present this, Daniel?
Let's do this. Let's shut that down. Let's do a screen share, and
Sure.
I think we have a poll. So 1, 2, 3, two top pass. Good job. So yeah, here we are, guys. We're just looking down here at the bottom of the screen. We have a trips formation, and we're going to do a similar exercise that we've done in the past. This one's not overly complicated, but I think it brings up a good visual mechanics kind of question post-it for us. So just the 1, 2, 3 is just our receiver's key at the snap, right? Our initial key. The field judge is down here on 1. The line judge is at the bottom of the screen. He's got number 2, and then the back judge is on number 3. So we're going to run it here just to a few seconds into the play, and then go ahead, Tuta, and let's start that first poll.
All right.
And so the receiver key, initial key numbers have stayed the same. Number 1 was where the field judge started. We gave you that answer. And then number 2 was the line judge. Number 3 was the back judge. So we're just looking, and we're just going to go through the 3 positions. So let's move quickly through these. Somebody keep track. But we're just looking to see. I think the first one is, where's the line judge? Who's the line judge at this point. And then I've got this window maximized. So when you guys feel like we've got a good sample set, let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
All right. We're not moving on yet. I'm going to let you know when. We have a good split, though. I can tell you that.
Oh, that's great news.
Yes, it is great news.
So, guys, don't wait too long to answer here because we're going to go through each three of these kind of perimeter officials working this action, and then we're going to move it a little bit and do the same thing. So just answer, go with your gut.
I'm getting ready to end the poll, Daniel.
Okay, great.
Poll has been ended. Okay, next we're going to go to, I believe we have F next.
Yeah, I think the field judge is next.
Yep. Hold on.
And hopefully after going through that exercise with the line judge the first time, it kind of helps you identify where everybody would be.
Yes, now we want to know about the field judge. Daniel, what time is Luke's bedtime?
It was about 20 minutes ago.
Really? What time? What time is that? 7:30?
Yeah, about 7:30.
Dang, y'all run a tight ship over there, huh?
Yeah, man.
Okay, you go to bed at like 8:30. What are you talking about?
No, I'm up with the cows, man.
Oh, really? You're a night owl?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Are cows up late anyway? That might have been a stupid statement. I may need to retract that statement.
They're up early. Why do you think the farmers and ranchers in my world get up early?
Because they have nothing else to do with their life?
Okay. All right. So anyway, who's on the number one receiver?
All right.
We entered that poll.
Okay.
Okay. Next we're going to go to the back judge.
Folks, the minute pure officiating starts to get into the nocturnal habits of livestock, I think it's time to go back to who's on the number 2 receiver.
That's a good indicator. That is a good indicator.
The back judge here?
Yes, we're talking about the back judge.
We're at the back judge.
Yes. What time did you have to get up as a young buck, Mr. Brandon Cruz, when you had to go and milk the cows? What time as a young kid there?
I didn't live on a dairy farm, so your question's irrelevant.
Oh, I thought you milked cows.
Milk the bull either way.
What chores did you have? What farm chores did you have to do?
I had to pour corn. I had to shovel corn from a grain bin into a bucket and do like the farmers carry. That's where it came from. You got 2 buckets of corn in your hands.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it's like 10 degrees out. So your fingers are numb. Whatever. I guess you should have gloves.
You should have just wore gloves though.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, honestly. And then you got to pour. It's not that hard, but it's work. It's physical work.
What time did you have to wake up to do that?
Like 7. I mean, it wasn't.
Oh, that's not even tough. You act like you had such a tough life. Oh my God!
I didn't say that.
Oh, 7 o'clock. Like, come on.
I didn't say that.
All right, let's close that down.
We're on the poll, Daniel. We're getting way off topic here.
Yeah, sorry to the universe. Let's go through the results we had. So we've got this trips formation down here at the bottom of the screen to the line judge side, and we're going to get some zigging and zagging and switching pretty close to the snap. So right here at this first point where we stop the play, what did we feel like as a community the line judge is looking at? Tata, 1, 2, or 3?
We had 2/3 of our participants say number 3. 69% said number 3.
Okay, which was the back judge's original key. And then where was the rest of the group at?
In terms of what? Oh,
like where was the next?
Okay, 21% of us said number 2.
Number 2. Okay, which was the initial key.
Right.
And I think maybe that this pause is a little bit deceptive because when you look at the number 3 receiver, there's a lot of space around him right now.
That's right.
But man, this closes really quick, and the way that they switch underneath each other may communicate that you need to get to number 3 more quickly. And so that was a little bit of the reason I wanted to go to the next one, but I agree. Let's move on.
Okay.
I'll get to it, but I think at this point, if some of us are saying, look, the line judge doesn't have anything to transition to because there's no threat on number 3, so he should still be with number 2. I don't think that's unreasonable, but we'll talk about why maybe not ideal. I don't think that's unreasonable, though, because if we go forward here a little bit, you may say, okay, now it's a different scenario at this point.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the field judge. Or you know what? Did you have something you wanted to add to that before we move on to the next position?
No.
Okay, so what about the field judge, Tuta?
Field judge, we had 96% of us said number 1.
Okay, very good. I don't have any issue with that. Anything we need to discuss about 96%
No.
sounds good to me. All
So
right.
they got their guy. They got their guy.
They got their guy.
Okay.
Easy,
okay,
easy,
okay.
easy,
No.
easy.
Okay, let's just move on.
He thought he was in the clear.
No need to shovel corn. Let's move on.
Corey's having some technical issues, so he thought he was okay.
I'm just back on, so I can hear everybody.
Welcome back.
Okay, good.
I don't know what shoveling corn means.
It's all right. You missed it. It was probably the most.
It was provocative.
It was terrible. Okay, let's keep going.
All right, where's the back judge at, Tuta? What does the community feel about the back judge?
90% of us said number 2.
Okay, and so I think that is a great number, and that's why I think ideally the 69% of us, the 2/3 plus of us that felt like the line judge should switch to number 3 are dead on from my perspective, because as a back judge, if we could do a little back judge centric conversation here, when I'm on this number 3 guy at the very beginning, his first steps right here are to the outside, and by the way, pre-snap with this much space between number 2 and 3, and really watch both of these guys, even all the way into the tackle. But when I see him cross under and the number 3 receiver go immediately out, I'm immediately switching on those guys when there's no threat for a foul. So as a line judge, if I'm talking through this play pre-game or throughout the course of the week about how we're going to work this as a crew, as a line judge, if I know my back judge is immediately going to make that switch, I don't need to risk staying with him longer if the ball doesn't come out immediately. I can go ahead and get my eyes to this guy because we need to feel that there's these 2 defenders right here, and this guy's coming down on him. That's what he's doing right now. So even though there's a little bit of, or there's what looks like significant space between him and a threat for a foul, it's going to close very quickly. So I think ideally, let's go ahead and have our line judge switch there, because if we play it a little bit further here, this is where we get to. And if you're just now switching as a line judge because you felt this threat, you may be a little bit late. Okay, so without doing the polls, let's just continue to work through this progression. Corey, you're up here as the field judge. You started out with your 1 guy. Are you doing anything differently at this point in the play before the ball's released?
No, but I mean, when part of my pre-snap routine, when I see trips come out like that, I think wheel route. I've always done that. And so I think I'd have a recognition to kind of have an idea that wheel route is coming. And as soon as number 1 gets clear of his defender, beyond getting pulled back type of range, I think, at that point I would start to, pay a little bit more attention to that wheel route, because I know he's going to start, to infringe upon the sideline. Maybe my line of scrimmage guy is, isn't swiveling his head and watching that. I think I would really kind of more gravitate towards that at the 16 than my receiver running free at the 9.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good point. And I think that you have to develop to be able to do that, Corey. I don't know that, if you're a brand new side judge, field judge looking at this play, that because that's because you're looking through and you can see that your receiver's beat. You can probably feel that the ball is getting ready to come out, and you've already identified the potential for the wheel. I think if you get over here and help, that's really, really high level officiating, and can be really beneficial. What about, and Brandon Tuta, feel free to jump in, but from a line judge perspective, at this point, we really are going to rely on you to transition to this guy here at the 16-yard line, because the punchline is, for the back judge, we're just going to, once we make this initial switch, number 2 is going to come across the middle. The side judge's guy from the top of the screen is also going to drag, going to get a little bit of traffic, but for the back judge, not an overly complicated play to officiate. So we really need the field judge and line judge to be on top of their switches for this play. Here's the line feed, and we can just watch it through, get a little bit of action down here at the bottom of the screen, and guess what? That's where the ball goes.
It's a little jumpy. If we want to go back to the loop, we can in the
let's do it.
HD video and keep talking through it, Daniel. I think that I just put a comment in the chat. Look, this is something that I think is so important to do as a crew, and we had the we're so unfortunate, right, where we are, but whatever. I mean, nobody needs to put pity on us, but to start the season, we really did. We had mixed crews, new people every week working on our crews. So we would do these types of conversations, I would say at least 2 plays every pregame. And it's like, 2 plays every pregame, but we would probably spend 20 minutes per play on it. And it's great to hear, at least from my perspective, the conversation between the line of scrimmage official, the back judge, the deep official, depending on what the nature of the switch is. So I think it's so important that, although this is somewhat maybe, nobody's getting their head taken off, there's not holding, there's not, okay, whatever. This is very important in terms of football game and laying a foundation down as a crew to the processes that we're going to go work tomorrow with, in terms of if this is our pregame. You see what I'm saying?
So one thing I want to add to that, Brandon, is let's make sure that when we're discussing our processes that we are very descriptive and explanatory, instead of just saying, I'll switch to number 2.
There you go.
Because that's not good enough. What Daniel explained to us of why he switched to number 2, because number 3 flattened out and immediately took steps behind number 2 towards the sideline. Well, now he really explained why he decided to switch to number 2. And now for a line judge, I can have a better understanding of how my back judge operates and why he operates the way he does, instead of, I switched to number 2. Well, that's not good enough.
It's such a great point. I think that's where we kind of push the envelope on our crews, and I don't know if we do it in terms of the whole officiating community, but once you start to hear Daniel break down the why based on the steps and the body language and the posture of these players and how they're running their route, that's next level. I love hearing that kind of stuff, because I have no idea why you guys switch the way you do, because I don't have as much experience. But it's so cool to be able to listen to that, and I can internalize that and just at least learn from you guys as we work through these types of plays. I love that.
And that's really the value of a play like this. Look, we can talk about this specific play and why we switched here, and whether or not we'll ever see that exact action, although this isn't very unique as Corey laid out for us. So there's benefits, I think, for the members, the community, just to think about when we're switching and why. And so we do this often, but really the value is in kind of modeling those conversations. And I would take it also maybe a little bit of an extra step further, is when you're with your crews, especially consistent crews, there are some things that you're going to be able to leave subjective, where we say, you know what? Okay, you don't think it's an offensive hold, but you do, and that's okay. We can live with that, and we can continue to officiate at a really high level. When we start talking about visually where we're looking at a given point in time during the evolution of a play, that's one of those things we've got to drill down to a correct answer, because we can't afford to have 2 sets of eyes on number 2 here, dragging across the middle. There's a potential DH on number 3. So it's one of those conversations we need to have, but then we've got to be able to work through it and make sure that we can get on the same page too.
Yeah, and doing this exercise, Daniel, you might find out that the line of scrimmage here at the bottom, look, oh gosh, I was on the belt, or I mean, I was on the tackle, or I had the back picked up a great pass block there. And it's just like, if you don't actually go through this process as a crew, it's not to like call somebody out on the carpet. That's not what we're trying to do. But we do want to learn, maybe perhaps, okay, where are deficiencies at right now? And is there an opportunity to coach that official up? And B, it's like, okay, you're on the tackle. Hang on, that's not what we're doing now. I mean, that's not what we're doing. So is there another conversation that needs to be had to ensure our coverage? And I don't want to go too far into that, but we're looking for information, which is the reason we put these plays out, to be sure that we actually do tomorrow when we go take the field, our coverage is basically optimized. It's all about optimization, in my opinion, from a referee perspective.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, I don't think we have any questions. Let's keep it moving. On to a little bit of
what's next?
End zone action.
I think RPS is a consideration. We have a great look at that on this play. Could that defender, I mean, Ron, if what are we evaluating from a process standpoint? Could the defender have avoided that? Oh, Ron, what's RPS? Dan, I feel like that's sarcasm, maybe, in the chat. It's roughing the passer. Maybe not. But could the defender have avoided that much punishing contact to the quarterback? And if the answer is yes, then it's a foul. And if the answer is no, then it's not. And Dan, if that wasn't sarcasm, I apologize. But I've stuck my foot in my mouth. Go back to last week. Okay, what's next?
Let's talk about stretching the ball out for a line.
That's right.
Stretch.
Okay. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. I guess our line of scrimmage guys will let me know. I feel like this is happening more and more. Maybe it's been happening all along, and I'm just up with the trend here. But watch, we're going to have 2 plays where the runner, all right, the Cincinnati play is the quarterback, whatever. He's still a runner. I mean, look, we're going to have different angles. So the Cincinnati play is the quarterback. Then we're going to have another play, and we got 2 polls. So the first poll here is, should we treat – now check out the Boise play and just take both of these plays and all this action together. Should we treat getting spots at the line to gain the same as making judgments at the goal line? So I don't care. I don't care what your opinion is. Maybe it's an opinion, maybe it's a fact, but just look at these 2 plays. This is a pass play. The Boise-Hawaii play is a pass play. So it's really not the quarterback, but we do see this player stretching the football out near the line to gain. So should we basically treat the goal line the same as the line to gain with this type of action, or is there other considerations? So we'll do this poll first, and then we're going to get into the actual spots next. Help me out, guys. Is this happening more and more, or maybe have I just not been noticing this? I don't know.
No,
have players been doing this all the time?
No, not to this degree. I think you're right on. It's something that's definitely, everything trickles down. You used to see a lot of professional, NFL players do this, and now it's, as always, it's going to trickle down to us.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. And obviously, I just feel like maybe the players are becoming more aware, and I think schemes. Maybe it's coaching, right? I don't know. And I don't know if it's too important to know the why, but I love to know the why. That's kind of my personality. So maybe this route is designed to be run near the line to gain, right? Because it's 3rd and whatever. So you got to get the first down. That's your job. And here, look, it's 3rd and 3 with the Cincinnati, Georgia play. So I just think players are more aware. Not that players in the past weren't aware, but the coaching has – oh, man, I've just been so impressed with what I've seen from coaching lately. I just think it's gone to the next level. The poll results are still bouncing around.
They're very interesting polls.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting. So the question that we're asking is, should we treat getting spots at the line to gain the same as we would as making that judgment at the goal line? Okay. I had that filibuster too, Todd, but I don't have another one. Should I keep going, or do you want me to talk about goats next, or like what?
Did you have goats on the family farm up in Pierre, South Dakota?
I was about to swear big time, and no, we don't have goats.
Okay, I don't know.
However, I saw
South Dakota.
Hey,
what's
and
wrong
I know
with goats?
you are too. I'm a Shark Tank fan. I saw the other night on Shark Tank goat yoga. So
are you serious?
That's an old
they're
thing.
doing
That's been around for a
yoga
long
with
time.
goats walking all over their back.
That's old, man. That's been around for
that.
years.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I
Gotta
grew
be
up
kidding
here in
me.
South Dakota. See, Tuta didn't know, and he's contemporary.
I don't know.
I
if
guarantee
use that
Daniel
adjective.
didn't know about goat yoga. Let's just
I had no idea. I'm still not sure that you guys are being serious or if this is an elaborate prank to make me feel silly.
All right, here we go. Enough of this. Seriously. Can we just move on? Let's go.
Football, guys.
Yeah. All right. Should we treat getting spots at the line again the same as making judgment? Okay, 73% said yes. All right. Sometimes we do questions to intentionally confuse people, but this wasn't one of them. Guys, help me out. I mean, I feel like the rules are different when you include the goal line versus the line to gain. So maybe I'm thinking about this a little differently, but can somebody help me out with, are we going to treat a spot at the line to gain in terms of making a judgment of where the football is placed the same as the goal line?
I think maybe people are a little confused, thinking maybe goal line extended
Okay.
versus reaching the ball. But obviously the point is when a live ball in possession of a player crosses the plane of the goal line, the play is over.
Plays over.
It's dead. It's a touchdown. A live ball in possession of a player that is reached across a line to gain, the play is not over unless the player has stepped on a boundary line or has a body part other than a foot or hand down on the ground.
Right. And the ball could have crossed
Or helmet off.
the helmet off, all that. The ball could have crossed the plane of the sideline, before all that. I mean,
That's right.
Look, there's a lot of different considerations. So I just want to make sure maybe the poll was confusing, and maybe that's okay because I want people to work in the kind of the gray area of all this stuff. But it really is a different consideration, and I hope there's some line of scrimmage. Certainly the field judges and side judges make these judgments too. Like you said, Tuta, it really is a different judgment because if the ball makes the plane of the goal line in possession, the play's over. And it really doesn't even matter what happens after that, so long as that runner, right, still has possession of the football. We could get into the process of the catch, and I don't think we were going there, but gosh. So I feel like it is a different judgment, and maybe should we take questions on that, or should we just keep moving? Do we need to expound on that? What are you feeling from the chat?
There is nothing in the chat other than baby goats.
Baby, oh, geez.
FR62, go to FR62 out of bounds at forward point. Maybe that will help if anyone is confused about.
By the way, it's okay to have fun with some of this stuff too, right? I mean, it's okay to have fun. But we do want to make the point, ruling the dead ball spot at the goal line is actually different than the line to gain, because if a football in possession of a player penetrates the goal line and that goal line is part of the end zone that is the opponent's end zone, the ball's dead.
Dead. Play is over.
Plays over. So this is different. It affects our judgment. All right, so here we go. Okay. if that's confusing, just either chat us or you've got our email, follow-up email. We love the follow-up emails. Tuta loves follow-up emails. I know that. Here we go. Next poll. What's the spot? All right. So here we go. Let's get down to the real question here. All right. So we've got the Cincinnati play. Cincinnati's on offense. Or we've got the Boise play. Boise is at Hawaii on offense. Okay. So what's the spot? The poll is published. The poll is available. Cast your vote. You've seen the plays. Is it a first down or is it short? And you've got both combinations for both plays. We're not going to talk more about goats, I hope. Let's reload the video.
Are there any barnyard animals you want to talk about?
No.
Brandon, did y'all have a barn, by the way? We learned this is all about learning about Brandon as a young kid day.
Right.
This is a Brandon Cruz expose.
Why am I feeling uncomfortable? I'm
did
like
you have to get up super early to
No,
feed?
Corey,
Yeah,
you remember that? His life was so tough. He had to wake up at 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
If I had chores, by the way, my dad protected me.
He's a good man.
I'm like the shyest person in the world, so this is really awkward for me. No, I am. I'm very shy. And
Get out of here.
So what other animals did you want to learn about?
Did you have a barn as a kid?
Yeah,
Did y'all have
absolutely. We had like at least 3 on the ranch.
Dang. Okay.
It's pretty common. Okay. What's the spot? I mean,
the poll is still moving, so we gotta fill it up and learn more about Brandon.
I think some folks were distracted probably by the conversation trying to decide. But
we talked about goats. They should be distracted.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. On topic of these plays, I'm always very impressed by line of scrimmage officials and how accurate they typically are with these plays. Because I look at these things as a deep official, I'm like, no way, I know what I'm doing there. I'm guessing. It's different for us deep guys at the goal line. It's either a touchdown or you put the half-yard line. You get the 50-50 chance. So I don't think there's much of a comparison between what we do on the pylon versus what our line of scrimmage officials do on plays like this all game long. And I'm consistently impressed by how accurate they are.
All right, Brandon, let's end the poll. I just ended the poll.
Go ahead. Yeah, what do you got?
51%, half of us said the Cincy play is a first down and the Boise play is short. 32% of us said both of them are short. 12% of us said the Cincy play is short and the Boise play is a first down. And then 3% said both are first downs.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Look.
Are you doing screen share on this one?
I'm going to do screen share. Do you mind stopping the video if that's okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Both of them are short. All right. Here we go. And look, and we got some really good questions, I think. Really good questions in the chat. So let's get away from the goats. Somebody said Tom Brady's the GOAT. Man. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. I love the GOAT conversation. Right. So why are they both short? So let's get to this and let's talk through, because we had another really good question about treating the line to gain as the goal line, right? And I believe we've actually said that, have we not, in certain situations? But that doesn't mean the rules are the same. All right, so what's the judgment we have to make here? We have to make the judgment of when this football right here crosses the plane of the sideline. All right. And basically that is when the runner is striding over the sideline. So this is really interesting. It's like, see how both feet are up? If the ball has already crossed the plane of the sideline, the spot is established.
That's right.
Okay. That's by rule. That's not a philosophy, Kuta. Are you with me?
Yeah, absolutely with you.
That's not a philosophy. So I don't want to make them. I feel like sometimes we talk about, well, this is what we've been trained. No, this is by rule. So when the runner strides over the sideline like this, the spot is established by where the ball breaks the plane of the sideline. It's not established right here. Look, what do we see here? The left foot is down. Guess what? The ball really is breaking the plane of whatever would be the line to gain. That's not the spot. The ball is dead at this point because now the ball is touching somebody who's out of bounds, who so happens to be the runner. but that's not the spot. Because if we go back to the rule book, did you already mention that rule, or were you going to?
FR 62, that would be 4-2-4D, 4-2-4D.
So we have to make a judgment of where the football breaks the plane of the sideline. And you're like, well, that's not a good angle. Well, no kidding. No kidding, that's not. What do you think this guy's angle is? That's not a good angle. I mean, he knows perhaps where, at what point in time the football breaks the plane of that sideline. He's got the better angle than this, but does he actually know where on this axis of the sideline that point is? Gosh, that's what gets challenging. And I know we've got some techniques we're going to talk about, perhaps that can help us. So there wasn't very good angles on this play, but it was just a great play to talk about. So we already know that right here, like there's almost no chance that football is still in the field of play. So even though he's reaching it out, it's already broken the plane of the sideline. So line of scrimmage and those of you that get spots, use this play because it is actually, look, when he reaches it out right there, if we piece together these angles, his feet are off the ground. From the other angle, we already knew that the ball was already outside and in this white right here. Okay, that establishes the spot. So there's no chance this is a first down. There's absolutely no chance. And I know it's tough. I know it's tough in real time because all this happens in real time, but we've heard some really good tips, and we'll talk on the next play to really cement those. But when you're watching this action, what do we know that line of scrimmage officials are going to do, Tal? Like right here, what's the line of scrimmage official going to do to mark the spot? Is he just going to stay right here, or is he going to move? And then what's he going to do with his body?
So the thing that I've always been impressed with line of scrimmage officials, what I've heard is they like to go out of bounds the same way the player went out of bounds, and that's how they actually establish where the spot is. And when I say go out of bounds, obviously from a mental and pictorial standpoint, they take a picture of how that player went out of bounds, and then that's what they use to determine where they're going to mark the spot of forward progress.
Here's what I think that means to my weird brain. Okay, I understand the pattern and the kind of the angle at which the player went out of bounds, and I know which hand the football was in. Mm-hmm. And if I know that, I can piece together with very strong accuracy where that ball's at. And I just feel like that's why we nail these spots more often than we don't. And we really do. And I'm so impressed with all our line of scrimmage people that understand this. Look, our poll results are kind of maybe not on the same line of thinking, but just want everybody to understand the rule, first of all, and then the mechanics, secondly. So just, if you're looking at this play, it's like, well, wait a second. The ball is beyond the line again when his foot hits the ground. That's not the spot. That's not the spot. So the spot was where we talked about it initially and exactly the mechanics that Chuta laid out. Now, let me go to the next play to really just kind of cement this. We had a bunch of other angles. The video will be available in the product page later, by the way, if you ever want to use these plays. So let's go to this play, and I think this play is we can use physics to really help us. Okay, so the pass is complete. This receiver right here catches the football. What's he going to do? What did we talk about? They understand their schemes. It's third down. He's going to reach the football out. All right, he's going to reach the football out. Look, we already know from this angle, which is an awful angle, that he reaches the ball out, and when he contacts out of bounds, he barely, if at all, gets to that target, which is at the line to gain. Okay, what am I talking about? Right here. This target right here is the line to gain. This big line is the line to gain. All right, so he barely gets there. We have to understand those physics in our mind because we're going to get this angle. Now watch this angle. And then we'll have another one. He's already out of bounds. He's already out of bounds. So in terms of the football, by rule, he's not out of bounds. The ball's not dead yet while he's in air, but the spot is established by where the football breaks the plane of the sideline. So we know that he's heading this direction. Why is he hitting that direction? Because that's the way his team's going. And he's trying to get to the line to gain. So if he's going out at an angle and he ends up there is absolutely no chance that the ball crossed at this point. It crossed at this point that followed that angle that he went out of bounds, right? And so I believe we have one more angle. Let me get to this angle to really prove it. There's literally no chance that this ball crossed the plane of the sideline, which is the rule, while he's airborne, right, to establish that spot at the line to gain. It's clearly short. So very easy in video when we kind of break down the rule. Not so easy on the field. I mean, really not so easy on the field. And I'd love to take questions, but we can use these angles to help us out. That's like, look, if he's diving at an angle, I just want to read it. If he's diving at an angle towards that marker, there's literally no way physically that the ball crossed the sideline at this point to make it a first down. So we got to rule it short. And I think the best protocol here is just to rule it a yard short or whatever your judgment is, but it is short of the line of game. And so at that point, I mean, is there any questions about this? Is the rule clear to everybody?
Really, Brandon, I think this one is easier to process from a mental standpoint. And I think, as you mentioned, it is not easy for line of scrimmage officials to work this, but it can become easier and more routine and more habitual when we study video and when we look at things like this. We start recognizing body language, and then we also clearly have an indication of the rules in our head. Hey, man, if this guy landed 2 yards into the white barely on top of the first down line to gain target marker, there's no way that he could have gotten the ball beyond the line to gain in the field of play. I mean, he's doing a Superman. He's airborne. Yep. So there's no way he could have gotten the first down. So if we start using plays like this to really think and maybe put get some muscle memory, it really would help us make these things a little bit easier when we get on the field.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Thanks for participating in those polls. That's really good stuff. And we just wanted to help cement that rule. I think, Tuta, I know that you put a play up in the huddle this week. The huddle is our interactive chat forum where spots were very important. I mean, spots were very important, and we had to be 100%. So that's really, really good stuff. Okay. So next play, virtual study groups 27. What are we doing next? So we're still just going to basically stay on the screen share. And we are going to this one's going to be quick. So this one's going to be really quick. No poll. Let's get through all this. So let's talk about, we talked about chop blocks last week. And then let's just make sure, especially for all of us that are working in the spring, us working in the spring. Gosh, I wish I was working. Don't you? I mean, don't you wish you were just working football right now?
Yes.
I am so jealous. Look, there's 12 players. Count them. Do whatever you got to do. Count the players. There's 12 players on defense. What's the play clock at?
10.
Okay.
Running down.
Play clock's at 10 and it's running. Play clock is running at 10. Nobody's trying to get off the field. So don't confuse this with what we used to do. We said, remember this? I mean, you guys remember this. If a player was outside the numbers trying to get off, we kept it as a live ball foul. It's like you don't need that judgment anymore, right?
Nope.
I don't think you need that judgment anymore. So this is 12 players. So you're like, what do you guys do? You kind of twirl your finger or whatever to recount, or
and panic. And
panic.
Yep.
Please hold your flags, right, Corey? I mean, you guys, have you talked about this with your fellow deeps? Hold your flags here until what happened? What are you mentally thinking?
Well, I mean, they took any guesswork out of it for it. It's always a live ball foul, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. So in that essence, the rules creators actually did us a favor, which isn't something we can always say.
That's a great point. Okay, so the ball snaps. So Tuta, look, let's say right here, 9 seconds on the play clock. My man, we love our quarterbacks. We kind of suck up to him, honestly, as referees. Let's say he comes out with a timeout signal. All right, Mr. Referee, Mr. You nailed it this year. Is this a situation where you and then Daniel comes into you and says, "Wait a second, I had 12 in the formation over here." So, does this feel like you should basically give the offense their timeout back and then penalize the defense for illegal substitution, or does this feel like you're going to kind of just tell Daniel to go away?
I would tell Daniel to go away anyway, so that those are not mutually exclusive.
That's true. That's true.
But with the play clock where it is, to be perfectly honest, we're getting late into the play clock situation. If this quarterback needs to call a timeout, I'm going to hope that Daniel, Corey, whoever's working, one of the three deeps are working, would have the awareness enough to when the quarterback calls timeout to immediately start blowing some funny air in the whistle or get on the O2O or something. I know we don't all work with O2O systems, but funny whistle, some kind of way, get the referee's attention, because as referees, we're back there just immediately ready to just announce timeout. But this, for me, this is a situation where I am not going to give the offensive timeout. I'm going to penalize the defense for illegal substitution.
Okay. And I'll just tell you this. I 110% agree with that. Now, Daniel and Corey, do you guys agree with that? Or have you guys had – because I'll tell you, we don't have strong guidance on, okay, it's got to be 9.9 on the play clock or 14 point – like there's been no guidance at what the play clock has to be to when to do this. But I was just wondering, because we haven't actually, as a group, talked about this. I agree with what Tuta said, but with what your conversations were, do you guys agree with that?
I agree 100%. I think, when a quarterback calls a timeout with this much time on the play clock, and 9 seconds is an eternity for a quarterback. Right. That tells to me, and this is the reasoning behind the rule, is that he's trying to read this formation. He's like, man, I don't have a read for this play, and it confuses him. And I think that's exactly why the rule, and it took me a couple weeks to get behind this, but 100% I agree with it.
Okay, cool.
So hold on, Brandon. Let me go a step further.
Please do.
If this quarterback calls timeout with 25 seconds on the play clock running down, I still would expect the deep officials to come in and say, we have 12 on defense. I would love for that conversation to happen anyway. And then I can do what I'm going to do to Daniel anyway and tell him, go back to your position.
Go away. I'm charging the offensive timeout.
But we still need that communication. Let's make sure we understand that as a process and not try to just play the result.
Come on. Correct. That is gold. You know what? I love that, because I always say the same thing on intentional grounding. Like, I don't care if you think the quarterback was out of the pocket or the quarterback was under duress or the quarterback's throwing motion was – I don't care what you think. That's my call. You know what I mean? As a referee. So come in and give the information, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yes.
That's not our role. Our role as deep officials is just bring you the information. You do with it what you like.
Love it. Love it. Gosh, that's good. I didn't even think about that. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's not what happens on this play. That's not what happens. So they snap the football. There's 12. Deeks, great job. Great job being focused. Look, 5.5 minutes in the second quarter. This game has been tough. We all watched this game, honestly. Yes. This was the Peach Bowl. This was the hardest bowl game in the country. Yep. I dare you to find a more difficult postseason game than this one. Great job by the crew. They nailed the 12 on the field. Now, look, we talked about chop blocks last week. And we said it's very rare to have a low high, Tuta. This actually is. This is a low high. Watch the right guard and the right tackle. Not great angles, but the low block is first. It's not the low block is kind of still happening, and then he gets blocked high. This is a foul. You agree? I mean, this is a foul for a chop block.
Yeah, and if we contrast this with the play from last week,
right?
The low block last week was extinguished prior to the high block beginning, so it was not a combination block. In this situation, the low block is still, like you said, is still going on. Or I don't know what words you use there. The low block is still happening or occurring while the high block begins. So that is a combination block.
Yeah, and it's. Look, is this the most vicious chop block in the world? I'm pretty sure this defensive end is going to walk away from this. Don't care.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, wow. Doesn't matter.
Wow, the technique is bad. The low block before the low block ends, the high block starts.
That's right.
Basically what we're saying.
That's right.
So this is a foul, and both of them are clearly intended to be, engage this player right here. This is a foul for a low-high chop block. So if you want a good contrast, go back to the replay of last week's session, and I feel like, Todd, those would be good contrasts, even though we weren't able to put them side by side. But hopefully the folks can do that on their own.
That's right. Yep, and I will have these plays uploaded, as Brandon, as you mentioned. We upload the plays to the download section of each replay product.
Good. So good job on the defense 12 men. Good job on the chop block. We're going to offset those fouls, 2 live ball fouls. Remember now, defense 12 men, like in that what we just saw, is clearly a foul that happens as a live ball foul at and basically after the snap. So no longer a dead ball foul unless the exceptions we talked about. All right, let's go to this play. So this is the play we're going to end on. This is the play of the day. Have you ever worked a game at Elon?
I don't even know what Elon is.
Me either. So I think it's in the Northeast. Somebody will help us, I'm sure.
That's Billica country.
It's got to be Billica country, right? I mean, it's got to be. So we've got umpire in the backfield, which I know means all hell's going to break loose. And check it out. Guess what? We've got this. I actually think these O2O systems are better than the ones we have most of the time. Have you ever used those? I've used them. They're the Motorola's. The only problem with the Motorola's, Tuta, is you might hear a truck driver on I-30 or something like that.
I don't like optically how we got to press at our lapel to talk on it. That's the part I don't like. It's kind of awkward looking to press your lapel to talk on the mic.
Because nobody can tell when we're pressing the button on our waist.
Right. Yeah.
That's true. Okay. But
let's get into the play. Okay, here we go.
So Tuta, you use the Motorola's too.
I like the Motorola's.
Say it again, Daniel.
You've used the Motorola's also.
No, but I've seen people use them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Tuta's done everything.
So you just the way they look when they're doing their lapel mic.
I said we. I'm trying to be inclusive here. I don't want to.
We're not talking about codes. Okay, look, watch the action. Watch this player. He's going to contact this player right here. Okay, this is a foul. This is a clear and obvious foul for UNR. And by the way, I would announce this Tuta as personal foul for unnecessary roughness. If it's not late hit out of bounds, I don't say late hit. Maybe that was an aside. It's something I've been noticing in the spring. A lot of our referees are saying late hit, but I guess I can't get there if it's not a late hit out of bounds. Although this is a late hit. Do you do anything different with that?
I do not believe I use the word late hit out of bounds. I mean, late hit if it's a hit inbound.
On its own, yeah.
Yeah, because you can easily take and start frame and say, look, he's not even out of bounds yet, and it's not a late hit, So, no, I agree with you. I don't think I want to say late hit if it's just a personal foul inbounds that's unnecessary rough. I just say personal foul unnecessary roughness is what I say.
So great job here. This is really unnecessary roughness. I mean, no questions asked. Look, the player's giving up. This player, for whatever reason, by the way, he's on the defense. This is an indicator, at least to me. Why would the defense be going and seeking out somebody in the other colored jersey? Shouldn't you be going to tackle the runner? Okay, so I feel like there's less of a threshold we need to have a foul. This is a foul. Does anybody not have this as a foul, by the way?
No, it's a foul all day long.
Okay, very good. So this is a foul, and we get this. We get this call, and so Tuta, look, let's just say that I'm the grader and you're the calling official. So I'm going to put what would you expect to see here? Because you look at the video, right? You're the calling official, okay? You look at the video. Yes, baby. Nailed it. So what do you from me as the grader?
I'm hoping I see a 7, CC 7. That's all I need to see. I'm done.
CC 7. Move on.
That's right.
What about my holding call? Like, this is all I need to know. CC 7, right? What? Who called this?
Headline judge.
Okay. What? Wait a second. How did the headline? What? Doesn't the headline judge? The headline judge has the spot.
Yeah, but
the headline judge is right
he
here.
sees the guy in. Is that red?
I don't.
Green. The dark jersey flying.
He's looking at the football. I mean, and I don't blame him. I mean, look, maybe we could have, from a mechanical perspective, had this angle and we're okay because now we can judge all those different aspects of the ball break and the plane of the sideline like we talked about before. Okay, but whatever. Like, let's just get better off that. But now let's just let this play. I'll just keep it in kind of slow motion. We kill the clock and we throw the flag. Okay. Look. What did you just say, Tuta? What grade did you just get on this? You're the head linesman or whatever, headline judge.
Hopefully I got a CC 7. That's all I need to worry about.
CC. It's over. So we should just end the session?
Yes.
See you next week.
All right. No, please, no. Okay, you guys leave. Daniel and I will continue. Guys, come on, guys.
No, I'm not missing this.
This is not how we want to. The headlinesman, guys and gals, was the only flag. Was the only flag on this. If this is your crew, or this is any crew, put this play up next week. Put this play up in week 1. We completely missed the boat on this play, guys and gals. We did not work this play well at all.
You meaning as a crew, right, Brandon?
As a crew.
As a crew. Yes.
We have got to break this play down and understand how in the world did the side judge not see this? How in the world did the back judge not see this? What about the umpire?
The trailing umpire, yeah.
We're working in a different position. I mean, I get it. What about the referee across the way? What about everybody else on the field? Look, I'm not saying there should be 7 flags on this, you guys. You know what I would honestly expect? The only person not to have a flag?
The H.
The H.
That's right.
It's right here.
Right.
Let's break this down. Do you guys mind? Do you guys mind if we break this down? Because, and I'm not picking on the crew, but I saw this play. I'm watching these games from this weekend, and I love, trust me, I love 2021 spring football because I wish I was out there. I seriously wish I was out there, but I'm not. So I got to watch the work, and I see this play, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really, really crazy. All right, Corey.
Yes.
What in the world are you doing right here?
Well, I'm not doing my job. I know that. I mean, it's.
We're going to try to be nice, Corey.
Maybe he's going in after players in the bench. Okay.
Okay.
So that part's good. That's part of officiating that play. But now, did I finish the play? No.
Corey, you grabbed the football.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice. You told me to be nice.
I know I told you to be nice. Thank you. You grabbed the football, Corey. So
yep.
And look, have you done this? Yes, I know you have. I've done this from other positions, from other aspects. What are we doing here? What mistake are we making?
Not finishing the play.
Finishing the play. That's right.
And we can see, and I so am sorry, but thank you for doing this because it's such a great training opportunity. Your sideline partner called a clear and obvious late hit, which was really unnecessary roughness, and we missed it. And we've got to figure out why. Because, Corey, if this is me, and I know if this was you, you would be killing yourself for not a week, you would be killing yourself for months trying to figure out why you missed this.
Yep.
All right. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to approach this with how to get better for the next time. All right.
Well, I think it all starts with how this, I would have worked this play like this. I think it's a clear indicator you were watching the ball carrier. To know that ball's out of bounds. I mean, as a side judge, I should have no care with that runner, with all that stuff going on the inside.
Okay, so this is your angle, honestly.
Right.
Guys and gals, this is where we want to take this program. We want to create the environment where, look, we've all made these same mistakes. This is why, Corey, we could have never picked this play out to discuss it if we hadn't made the same mistake. That's 100%. The whole point. 100%. All right. So at this point, you're watching blocks. I'm guessing you were outside.
Yeah.
You were outside. Maybe you transition inside, not a hold, no foul. Okay, good. So you're watching blocks. Now we're basically going to transition to the runner, I guess. Corey.
The temptation's there. Trust me, it is. And I've fallen victim to it many times.
Talking through this from right here. How do you reconcile, late hits out of bounds to the runner versus dead ball officiating?
You have to, you kind of have to have there's nothing for me to focus on here at this point. There's no one thing. And so I'm kind of wide angled, to be honest with you, to see, I know my line of scrimmage guy, he's going to own the sideline. He's going to own the spot. He's going to see if something's laid out of bounds. I can help with that, but I also have to kind of start, seeing from a wide angle, what else is coming, is there somebody still going full speed when everybody else is stopping? And that's one of the indicators why the guy in the red jersey gets blasted, because watching that guy still going full speed. Even the person who called it, I don't think was watching that. So, it's tough, but it just takes discipline to know that, okay, there's really not much threat to that runner. There's no threat to him being hit late out of bounds because he's being contacted inbounds. And I think the best rule of thumb that I can give everyone is to use that wide angle in that type of situation, definitely don't get laser focused on the runner, because nothing's going to, you really can't do anything to help. Maybe a face mask at best. I don't know.
If this is you working this, you just want to be aware of what you're doing right here.
Right.
We're running in this way, waving our arms. All right. And look, we got to stop the clock, right? We got to stop the clock. But if we're running in with our arms and our head is this way, we know for a fact we just didn't quite dead ball officiate as well as we would have hoped, Corey. You know what I mean?
Right. But I think we all have plays like this each and every game. If you're really truly self-evaluating yourself, you always find those 1 or 2 or 3 plays a game like, man, I wish I could have done that better on this play. And that, this is one of those. And that, if you have a checklist as what you need to do and what order of importance, getting the ball is definitely near the bottom, if not at the bottom. So, we want to finish the play and let the players separate, and then, that ball will still be there. They're not going to play without it.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Corey, you made a great point. Getting the ball is literally the last thing as a deep official you should be worrying about doing. And not only that, you shouldn't be getting the ball from the player who just finished the play. You should be getting the ball from whoever is working the balls as a ball boy on a ball person on the sideline. So if you're going into the bench area, it really should be only to get an opposite color jersey out of that bench area. If you're not getting the opposite color jersey out of that bench area, stay on the field. There's no reason for you to even go into the bench area.
No, none whatsoever.
I think it's effective when you're working these plays that are coming at you, and especially towards the perimeter, is to consciously tell yourself to not watch the ball, find something else. And that happens through a lot of repetition, and I would say spring practice, but since we're playing games, I don't know where you practice, maybe fall scrimmages or fall practices, but it's lit for me when I was really figuring out how to do this, years ago. It was really about consciously not avoiding looking at the ball carrier doesn't always mean I was looking at the right thing, but I knew if I wasn't looking at the ball carrier, that was a step in the right direction. And so that's the first piece we've talked about. And then the other thing we've mentioned, I think previously when we talk about pre-snap routine, is that really, and this is semantics, but I think it helps us position it in our head in the correct sequence, is the pre-snap routine begins with finishing the play.
That's right.
Players, right? And allowing players to separate and the play to come to its very natural conclusion. Everybody retreats to their neutral corners. And so I think if this is something you struggle with, and listen, we're looking at this play and there's some things we need to do better. But like Brandon said at the very beginning, we have all been here in one shape or form or another, whether it's getting a ball or it's just looking at a play clock, whatever it is, not finishing that play. If that's something, you need to be able to self-evaluate and see and kind of recognize if this is something that you struggle with. Try thinking about it in those terms, actively avoiding officiating the ball carrier if you're not working the spot, and then thinking about your pre-snap routine as beginning with ending the previous play by officiating player. So hopefully those two things can help you a little bit.
Daniel, tell me I'm playing the result. Again, this would be a play we would put this up and probably talk about it for a half hour if this was next week after our game.
Oh my gosh.
From your position here, you kind of walking this way, you're the back judge. And this is a study group. We're trying to all get better. So I'm trying to use plays that I see to get better.
That's right.
I just want to ask you, if you're walking that way in this manner, give me the probability that you are actually focusing on player action versus just kind of watching a blob of humanity at the sideline.
Yeah, unfortunately, and who knows, we're not there, but that's right. That's what this communicates to someone who's observing and watching, because most of us that have been in this position know that's exactly what's happening. Yeah. From this perspective, it looks like we've got a great cushion. We've already, at this point, we know it's a run play. We've got all of this space. Right now, we've got blocks to officiate. This is a great place for our eyes to be. Yeah, the one a little bit further inside.
Sure.
And so what we want to be doing is just being stationary, settling in and officiating that block. And then as soon as he breaks outside of that block, we're going to have a sense that he's going out of bounds. The very first thing as a back judge that we need to trigger is who's got a brick, who's still running towards this action as it's becoming dead ball that's going to gain my attention. But working to the sideline at this point in the play, and sometimes we feel this kind of compulsion as back judges where we need to move towards the play, and we don't need to do that at all. I think Brandon's original point was if we're just stationary officiating this action, we've got a great wide vision here to pick up this player. Like we said, Tuta, I think, said earlier, he's not running to tackle a ball carrier. He's just running towards this random player in dead ball action. And that's going to trigger you. That's going to grab your attention. And I think that we've got a much better shot at helping the crew here than if we're just we're kind of we're rambling here, not rambling, but ambling. What's that word when you're just walking without purpose? That's what we're doing.
Kind of moseying, I think.
Moseying,
like a Western theme. Yeah, we were kind of talking ranches earlier.
Right. Yeah. This is all planned and it's all designed to connect at the end.
Moseying a lot.
But yeah, just not a lot of value in us just walking towards the sideline. And also to your original point, we don't need to work towards the sideline on runs towards the perimeter. We're working from an inside out orientation. There's no value. If we need to back up, but let's not work to the sideline as back judges.
All right. What's the point?
I knew it was ambling.
Ambling or moseying?
Well, both.
What's the point? We got to play right. We got to play right.
Hey,
get off my back.
So wait, Brandon, let me ask you a question, Brandon.
All right.
Have you ever seen a crew saver call when an official who's in a particular area throws the flag? Because let's be perfectly honest, this is actually a crew saver call because the headline judge, like you said, you would expect him not to have the flag.
The only official on the field that should not have the flag is the official who throws the flag.
That's right.
It's a crew saving call.
We have to get this. And I mean, we can see the reaction from this sideline here. If we miss this, we lose a lot of credibility.
And if you watch this game, this player was a problem. I mean, not that matters because we're just kind of putting this play in a vacuum. But golly, I mean, geez.
I think it matters.
I think it does too. It's in the context of the game, right?
Yes. If he's been a problem all game long, it absolutely matters.
Yes. And I mean, this is just the most. Oh, I love that this play happened because it gave us all the ability to grow from this. And first of all, commend the headline judge for, you know what? Would I want to be there? No. Did we kind of misread this and move without a purpose? Yeah. Okay, great. But somehow, some way, we picked up the pattern that this player was hit late. Did we guess? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know what he or she is thinking, whatever. But, you know, we got it right. Great. Okay, that's like 1%, Tuta. Let's go deeper. I mean, let's try to figure out. We should never, ever see this same play again with the headline judge only having the flag on this. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
And yeah, and let's also we are playing the results here a little bit because when we start talking about credibility and perception, like having a flag down on here from a results perspective was really, really important. And who knows? I'm not in his shoes. We're not advocating if you see a body flying that we want to throw a flag. I'm not saying that happened. I'm just saying like when see all of the action. We've made that comment many, many times on our different sessions. But let's make sure that we're throwing on action that we can speak very intelligently to relative to the details of the action. Does that make sense? Was that good?
That was good.
Okay.
All right. Well, look, I just wanted to make the point, I guess. A lot of points were made, and I appreciate all of you guys, and especially those in the chat as well. But look, I've been around officiating for a few years now. My guess is this play, from an evaluation perspective, correct call. And let's move on. But as a crew, use this play. This is the play. This is the play to challenge ourselves, create a little adversity in the room. It's okay. Create a little conflict, productive conflict. Challenge each other. Headline judge, you didn't see that. You did not see the initial hit. I'm telling you right now, you did not see the initial hit. You guessed. You guessed right. You used your instincts and you made a call and it was correct. Awesome. But we were at risk for a holy crew embarrassment here. Because this is actually a player who gets blocked into this player, and we didn't see that. That has happened.
Yep, we had that 2 years ago. 2 years ago, was on the field for that exact same thing, and I couldn't help, unfortunately. But that is such a punitive call that we make incorrectly. We cannot afford that mistake. We just can't. And it happens all the time. 21 could have easily pushed whatever that guy, the bad actor's number is, into the other guy, and you've got a domino effect. So be careful. Be careful.
Good. All right. Well, good discussion. Look, we weren't trying to be hard, whatever. I know that some of us in this world kind of, we can't. It's very hard to sometimes take criticism, but criticism is in terms of a constructive way, guys, is I feel like what is our pathway to the next level, especially if it's self-imposed. So let's self-evaluate this, put our shoes on, put our H on our back, and be this man right here who obviously used his instincts in some way, maybe didn't see it all, but whatever, got the call right. Be this guy's crewmate. reenact this. Just put this play up. Use it as a simulation. And just don't even put a question out there. Just have an abstract session to say, how are we going to handle this play? Head linesman has a flag. And see what happens, Tuta. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I think that would be a very beneficial exercise to see who we really have on the crew this week. All right. Hope. Sometimes we got to do that. Sometimes we got to talk about difficult situations and get better.
Hey, we all did that a couple of weeks ago.
We did. All right, guys and gals, really appreciate everything. Corey, you good? What do you got? Send us home, man.
Man, I'm good. It's good to always talk football. It's good to learn from everybody each and every week. And, this is Get Better season.
Get Better season,
baby.
27 virtual study groups with, countless to come. I don't even know how many days it is till the next football season for us, for those of us working the fall. But, those that are working the spring, I'm with Brandon and everybody. I'm envious. I'm kind of living vicariously through y'all. So keep having fun out there. Enjoy the games. Enjoy what you get to do each and every Saturday, because just know there's thousands of us sitting at home wishing we were in your team. So that's it for me. So you guys have a great week. Send us plays, send us thoughts, send us questions, because that's what we thrive on.
Hey, real quick, if you were fortunate enough to be able to work fall games this year, and you got to experience the unique opportunity to be on the field 90 minutes prior to kickoff. Listen, the NCAA survey is open right now. Feel free to share your thoughts. I'm not trying to
Sandbagger.
I'm not a proponent. I'm not here campaigning. I'm just telling you that if you got to do that and you have some thoughts about it, feel free to share those vociferously. And have a great week.
See you next week.
Adios.